Part 3 of the Lawn Tractor from Hell.
This is the Old Guy Network.
Yep. Here we are again with the Tractor from Hell, and I've got some good news and some bad news. The bad news was I watched a video before I put this all together, and I did something incorrectly, and I'm not going to leave a link for the video or tell you who it was, but they had it on there incorrectly. I went back and checked. So what happened was this is the new solenoid. I actually ended up shorting out this solenoid. It does not work anymore, and that's okay, because I went back to the old solenoid and I looked at another YouTube video, and it showed every step that the man took. It was a gentleman out of Canada, and it took showed every step to make sure what was wrong with the tractor, why it wouldn't start. He was having the same issues I was. Basically what it came down to was ground. I mean, he went through everything and it was ground. So I checked ground first, and we did have a problem with the ground. So that being said, I was still getting the clicking when I was trying to turn this on, so I knew that the solenoid probably was okay. Should have known that in the beginning. But because I wired it the way I was told to creatively on another video, got a direct short, and it melted the battery lead and the battery post. And as you can see, I drilled a hole in the post. I had enough left over to drill the hole and actually secure the ground back onto it. And everything else is exactly the way it's supposed to be. One of the things I did find out though was the battery box, the little caddy that's underneath the battery, is all rotted out, and I'm going to have to address that too, because that battery is going to fall out. And one of the things that I did was did a direct short to the starter just to make sure there was no issues with the starter, and there isn't. Check continuity on all the ground now, and let's see. What do you know? All it was ground. So I should have checked that first. I didn't. So if you're watching this video and you have the same issue, check all your ground first, and don't watch videos that tell you how to hook it up incorrectly. I will leave a link to the gentleman who did it correctly, so you can take a look at his. And he's an expert at this. I'm not. He's a much better mechanic at this than I am. So I'm going to put this all back together, and we'll get ready to do some more stuff to this thing. This is very, very encouraging. And just because I was remiss in telling you about this before, do not be afraid to use electronic cleaner. After you've scraped off all the contacts, make sure you're getting good contact. Clean it up. This stuff works great, and not just this brand. I've been using the CRC brand for a very long time, but there's other ones out there. But yeah, spray all your terminals with contact cleaner, and lubricate terminals that are heavy rust areas. This stuff does a pretty good job. There's other stuff. Liquid Wrench makes some. It's kind of like they make a compound that's a rust inhibitor, plus it does the same thing as WD-40 does. It disperses water, and it works pretty well. And that's this stuff right here, this rust inhibitor. Just spray your contacts and everything with that, but spray it with this first and clean everything out, and then spray it with that afterwards after you wipe them off, and you shouldn't have any problem getting your nuts and bolts free. Okay, I've started removing the stripes and all the stickers off it, and I thought I would just show you how easily you can do that. All you need is a scraper and a heat gun. goes to it. Okay, so I took this label off using the heat gun, and there was some residue underneath it, so instead of using Goo Gone like I normally do, I had to use WD-40. Worked okay. Sanded this all down, hit it with primer, and then I had some red paint left over, so I put that on. And that looks pretty good. The next step is going to be doing the whole thing with rubbing compound. As you can see over here, stripe is gone. And I think what I will do is get some black paint and do the nose in black. What a beautiful day in the trailer hood. I am very happy. Yeah, I had a little mishap with the battery. That could have been really bad. Whenever you directly short a battery, you take the chance of it exploding. Takes a few seconds to do it, so just be on ball, on the ball when you're working with that. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, and I am wrong. I never should have listened to somebody else when I knew better. But direct shorts are no joke, and you can burn yourself severely just on a little 12-volt battery. It's got quite a bit of amperage, and it can cause quite a burn. But things are working out the way I had hoped, sort of. Yeah, it was a waste of money for the starter solenoid, but that was only $14, so I'm not too unhappy with that. I mean, I was gonna say upset and unhappy. Happy, not too unhappy with that. But now we can use a little bit more money. I could have used that money for, well, the oil filter or the gas filters, or but I got to get a couple of inline gas filters. I also want to get an oil filter for it, get some oil, and change that, because the oil's probably never been changed in this thing. And I'm going to search around and see if I can find the numbers on it and find out how old it is. But yeah, it's coming along good. The next step with the tractor, though, is going to be cleaning it up inside, underneath. I'm going to be using not just air, which is a great start. Used a compressor. I'm also going to hose it out, hose it off, try not to get any water in the engine, and we'll go from there. And there's not a lot to do with this. I mentioned before the mowing deck. I'm not even going to touch that. I don't want to touch that thing at all. All the belts look good, pulleys look good, everything looks good, and this thing actually mows quite nice. So things are looking up for the tractor from hell. So for the Old Guy Network, sitting here in the trailer hood, I'm the OG, and I'm out.